Brooks Orpik made headlines in the spring when he lost a part of his pinky finger during Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final after a brutal slash from Vegas forward Erik Haula. The missing part was reattached, but after several months, Orpik admitted Wednesday he still has not regained feeling in the finger. "The nail's back on, which is good," he said after an informal skate at MedStar Iceplex. "It's just numb." Despite how it sounds, the injury does not seem to have hindered Orpik at all as he played in all 3 of the remaining games of the Stanley Cup Final after Game 2. Orpik also told reporters that he did not have any off-season surgery on the finger and it did not appear to be hampering him at all during informal skates as the team prepares for training camp. "It looks better," he said. "Still no feeling in it, but it's better than I expected." Orpik returns to the Capitals after a tumultuous off-season that saw him traded to the Colorado Avalanche, bought out of the final year of his contract, then resigned by the Capitals to a 1-year deal. His role is expected to decrease somewhat as the team will look to get more playing time for youngsters Christian Hughes and Madison Bowie. If Orpik is utilized less in the lineup, however, it will not be because of any fears regarding his finger. Despite not having any feeling in it, Orpik showed both in the spring and now during informal workouts that his pinky will not affect his play. As for whether he will ever regain feeling in his finger, that remains unknown. "The doctor said it might." Orpik said, "It's definitely better than it was. It could have been a lot worse," he added. More Caps news. The Capitals prospects head to Florida on Thursday for the 2018 Prospects Showcase. Washington's 23-man roster for the tournament was released on Wednesday and features 6 of the team's 7 draft picks from the 2018 entry draft. The Caps prospects will play the Nashville Predators and Tampa Bay Lightning prospect starting on Saturday. In total, Washington will play 3 games. You can listen on Caps 24/7 radio. While you're listening, here are the players you should be paying attention to. Alexander Alexeyev, the Caps' first-round pick in 2018. Alexeyev was impressive in development camp and will look to build on that momentum in the tournament. With the Caps' roster on defense essentially set plus several prospects in Hershey chomping at the bit for their chance at cracking the NHL, there's virtually no scenario in which Alexeyev does not play in the WHL this year with his junior team, Red Deer. Being drafted in the first round, however, carries with it high expectations and greater scrutiny. While he may not be playing for an NHL job this year, he will still be expected to perform well in a tournament against other prospects. Cody Clark was selected by the Caps 47th overall in the 2018 draft, making him the highest drafted forward by Washington since Jakub Vrana was taken in the first round in 2014. In terms of high-end defensive talent, the prospect cupboard is pretty bare for Washington. For now, it is not a pressing issue, but Alex Ovechkin won't win the Rocket Richard forever. At some point, the Caps will need to find a fence from within the pipeline. If Clark can develop into a productive NHL forward, it will go a long way towards filling the offensive void among the team's prospects. Shane Gersich has already experienced the highest level of hockey as he played in 3 NHL games last season and an additional 2 playoff games. You know he wants to stick around in Washington this year, but chances are he is headed to Hershey. If he wants to show he's ready to compete for one of the few open roster spots on the Caps, he needs to be dominant in Florida. As someone who has already played at the NHL level, if he's not the best player on the ice every shift, it will be a disappointment. Ilya Samsonov. The big question for Samsonov this season is how he will adjust to the North American game. This tournament will be the first competitive hockey he has played since making the jump from the KHL in the spring. It will be fascinating to see just how he handles this first test and can provide a baseline for his adjustment. The biggest thing to watch is how quickly he reacts to the puck in the faster North American game. Jonas Siegenthaler is in a similar situation to Gersich. While the Caps' defense for the upcoming season looks set, Siegenthaler could be the next man up if there is an injury in Washington. Among the team's prospect defensemen, Siegenthaler looks to be the most NHL-ready, which means he should be dominant playing against other prospects. If you can't defend against Tampa Bay's prospect forwards, how will you handle playing against Nikita Kucherov and Steven Stamkos? Here's the Capitals' full roster for the tournament. Alexander Alexeyev, D. drafted by Washington in the first round, 31st overall, in 2018 draft. Christopher Spindlis, D. signed with Washington as a free agent in 2017. Cody Clark, F. drafted by Washington in the second round, 47th overall, in the 2018 draft. Martin Fehervary, D. drafted by Washington in the second round, 46th overall, in the 2018 draft. Erik Florchuk, F. drafted by Washington in the 7th round, 217th overall, in the 2018 draft. Tobias Geiser, D. drafted by Washington in the 4th round, 120th overall, in the 2017 draft. Shane Gersich, F. drafted by Washington in the 5th round, 134th overall, in the 2014 draft. Connor Hobbs, D. drafted by Washington in the 5th round, 143rd overall, in the 2015 draft. Juuso Ikonen, F. signed with Washington as a free agent in 2018. Lucas Johansson, D. drafted by Washington in the 1st round, 28th overall, in the 2016 draft. Axel Johnson-Fjallby, F. drafted by Washington in the 5th round, 147th overall, in the 2016 draft. Maximilian Kammerer, F. signed with Washington as a free agent in 2018. Alex Kanek-Liepert, D. drafted by Washington in the 6th round, 161st overall, in the 2018 draft. Back Mallinston, F. drafted by Washington in the 5th round, 145th overall, in the 2016 draft. Christian Roykas Marthinson, F. drafted by Washington in the 7th round, 213th overall, in the 2017 draft. Mason Mitchell, F. signed with Washington as a free agent in 2017. Garrett Pilon, F. drafted by Washington in the 3rd round, 87th overall, in the 2016 draft. Brian Pinto, F. drafted by Washington in the 6th round, 174th overall, in the 2013 draft. Ilya Samsonov, G. drafted by Washington in the 1st round, 22nd overall, in the 2015 draft. Jonas Siegenthaler, D. drafted by Washington in the 2nd round, 57th overall, in the 2015 draft. Mark Simpson, C. a free agent. Invite Riley Sutter, F. drafted by Washington in the 3rd round, 93rd overall, in the 2018 draft. Logan Thompson, E. a free agent. Invite more Caps news. There are few people in the world who could claim to have had as good a year as Alex Ovechkin. Ovechkin, of course, led the Washington Capitals to the franchise's first Stanley Cup. He won both the Rocket Richard Trophy for the most goals in the league and the Conn Smythe as the playoff MVP, and then became a father with the birth of his son, Sergei, in August. As good as that is, however, the year Nathan Walker has had comes really close to matching it. It's been crazy, Walker said Tuesday following an informal skate at MedStar Iceplex. Everything from playing the first game, the first goal, to being able to lift that trophy over your head and then getting married, it's definitely been a fun-filled year, since the start of the 2017-18 season. Walker became the first Australian to play in the NHL, scored a goal in his NHL debut, became a Stanley Cup champion and got married over the summer. But now he wants to build on that year. Walker, 24, got only a taste of the NHL last season with 9 games, 2 of which came with the Edmonton Oilers. He also played in one postseason game for Washington, Game 6 in Pittsburgh, in which the Capitals finally exorcised their playoff demons and defeated the Penguins. It's that game that gives Walker confidence as training camp approaches. Walker was inserted into the lineup of an injury-depleted Capitals team and was able to record an assist on Alex Chiasson's goal, Washington's lone goal in regulation. On the road in an elimination against the two-time defending champions, Walker came up huge and did not look out of place or overmatched. I think with that game 1 played, I showed that I can play in the league, Walker said. I can keep up with the players here and hopefully I can just build off from that and just have a good camp and go from there. With the Caps returning largely the same roster from last season, there are not many open spots available for players like Walker to crack the lineup. A new season and a new head coach and a new season, however, could mean a new opportunity for the feisty Australian forward to build off of what has been an incredible year. Caps news.